That's right. We're two escrow officers that have done this for a real long damn time.
Check, check. Mic check.
Is this thing recording?
Hello, and welcome to Escrowtainment.
We are your hosts. I'm Brittaney Siciliano.
I'm Tammy Stone.
And we have a great episode this
I'm
week.
excited about this one.
Yeah. So this week we want to talk to you about preparing your clients for closing day.
Yes.
And all the fun things that go along with that. So,
number one for me, and I know this is crazy, and I don't, if you don't have it in your list, it should be added, is just to say to your clients, make sure you have a valid ID.
let's talk about valid ID. What does that look like?
It has to be state issued. So driver's license, passport, ID card, government issued. That's what I meant, not state, government, because passports do work.
Yes. So make sure you tell your clients to check the expiration date. You know, a lot of times lenders can help with that on the buy side, but
I literally had a closing just a few weeks ago where it had expired in days. I mean, it wasn't even that long. Probably waiting to renew to update your address. But for our notary books, we have to have a valid ID. So luckily they were able to do the renewal online, like literally at the closing table on their phone.
That's lucky.
Very lucky, because if it gets too far out, then you're taking a trip to
DMV, which I hear is still real back.
Really? I'm making the appointments. I haven't had to do it often, I think just once, but I found it. I love the appointment idea though.
Yes. Yeah.
Versus the sitting there and drawing the number.
And waiting forever.
Yes. Yeah.
Other forms of ID. We can take a government issued passport.
Yeah. Concealed handgun.
An ID card. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a driver's license, right?
Right.
Did you say that? You said that, didn't you? Sorry. Did you say ID card?
Maybe.
Okay.
We're just reiterating.
Yeah. We can even take the military IDs, right?
Yeah.
What are those cards called? You know, that have the picture on them that are issued by the, like Marine Army, the U.S. Army. What are those called?
I don't know.
Okay. You never taken one of those?
I haven't.
Okay.
No credit cards, no debit cards.
No.
Those don't kind of fit for ID.
That does not work. Okay, so you can talk to your clients about their identification, making sure that their identification is up to date. You can also talk to them about good funds. At the title company, I know we try to do a really good job of making sure people know what type of money to bring to closing. But good funds is a real thing.
And I always give when they're like, well, can you take a card, a credit card, or a debit card? You have to remember that a debit card or credit card, you can call your bank and you can put a stop on that. You can dispute it. So as a title company, we have to have good funds because we're literally funding to the seller, to the surveyor, to all the invoices. They're being funded the same day
we're paying you, and we have to have immediately available funds in order to be able to do that. Otherwise, we have to wait. What is it, like 7 to 10 days for a check to clear the bank account?
So what is good funds?
So cashier's check.
Cashier's check is good, yeah.
And wire transfer.
Yeah, that's it.
No cash. No cash ever. We don't take cash.
Yes.
We don't.
Yeah. No, it's no fun to get it to the bank or track it or
be known for that.
Right. Right. Yes.
Shoot 'em up bang bangs, mate. Come get your cash.
We do not carry cash.
We don't carry cash. We don't carry cash. Money orders. Excuse me.
Even for closing?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Money orders are not good.
Earnest money, yes, but not closing. Not at the day of closing.
Cashier's check, wire transfer. That's it. Real simple.
Right.
And that's specifically what our company, McKnight Title, does accept. I know some companies don't accept one or the other, but you should be getting notified that. But prep your clients for it is the big thing. Let them know so that they know they need time to go get a cashier's check or
move some money around, whatever they're doing.
Move some money around, get the process down with their bank on what's required. Oh my gosh. Side note. Like if they're moving money from like a money market account or a retirement account. I mean, they may not be able to do it same day.
Right.
And some banks may have cap limits on what can be wired each day. Like I've run into that before. Yeah. So just give them time.
Or you've got the people that are moving here, but their account is from the state they're from. You've got to kind of figure out how to get those funds. And there are ways. There's things you can do. It just might not be the day of closing.
No, but a conversation to prepare them.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you don't need to figure
A
it out
plan.
for them, but just have y'all thought about how you're doing this? What,
Right.
you know, what's your plan?
Yeah.
Definitely preps them for closing
For sure.
in a stress-free
For sure.
way. Let's talk about, you know, why is it? Contracts are written, closing dates are assigned, and then by the time closing date rolls around, and I'm not talking because there was extensions or something. Nobody's in town.
Yeah, someone's not available.
What's up with that?
They're on a Disney cruise.
What's the breakdown? I never can figure that out.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So what would you say to that? Like, ask them if they're going out of town,
Or
when
is
they
this a
sign
good
contract?
closing date? Are you going to be in town?
Yeah, because there's more fees and stuff associated if you're not.
Right.
What else can they do to prepare their clients?
The no new credit. I mean, I know that's crazy to say, and I know their lender are saying it, but I think it's just a good thing to add to your list as you're talking to your client is don't go buy that new refrigerator on HomeDepot.com or a new car because you're, moving, whatever that was in your plan.
Mm-hmm.
You got to wait on those things. I know I've had a story or two, but I thought the craziest one for me, we were all in a closing one day and this lady just kind of reached over to a realtor and goes, "We got married this weekend." Yeah. So the borrower became a single man to a married man.
Oh no.
During the closing. So
and that affects the whole.
It does, because I think as a married person, your spouse has to, maybe their debt income go into play. I don't know. We ended up closing, but I do think there was a day delay. But don't make any big changes with your credit, and I think that's a good thing to remind. Continue to remind borrowers, because they just don't think that way on the one time they buy a house every 5 years.
Yeah. Something else doesn't really have to do with the title company much, but it has come up at the closing table quite a few times. So when do I get my utilities turned on? A buyer doesn't know that. Or a seller goes, when do I turn my utilities off? How do we know when they're going to get their, account in their name?
Right.
So maybe having a conversation with the utilities thing, maybe that would just help make the closing process go smoothly. Everything's been thought of. You look really great to your client because you've kind of covered some of these things for them. They're thinking about packing, moving, registering in different areas.
Still working, whatever things they have going.
Yeah, life doesn't stop just because you have a closing, you know? Yeah. So I think that's good. I had funny, well, it wasn't funny because it killed the deal, but they went out and got a car the day before.
Oh.
And they rolled up to closing with the new car. And the lender went to pull the credit the day of closing before they sent their funding wire. Because I think they do like those soft pulls, through closing. And they saw the car and it threw their entire ratio off.
Right.
They could not undo it and they couldn't close. It got nasty with, you have a seller who's thinking their closing is going, they've moved, they've, big old mess. But buyer was able to do that because they were able to show credit worthiness for a big house. And their credit score jumped, and they got, they fell victim to the mailers.
Right.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, the new car, no payment for 3 months.
Yeah.
Something that was enticing.
Totally. I do have one more crazy story. So, back to preparing for closing. If your client is keeping some items that normally would stay with the house, or there's a bill of sale for some things, or there's a promise to be made as of closing date, kind of review those and make sure those are upheld. I had a situation where the seller was supposed to have mowed the yard and didn't for whatever reason. And the buyer showed up to closing with like an 8-foot tall weed. I'm not exaggerating.
Brought it to closing?
They dug up the weed at the walkthrough as proof, stuck it in a bag, like a grocery sack, tied it off, and walked into, like, it didn't even make it through the doorway. They had to, they were walking with it, hit the doorway, it fell back. I was like, what is this? They didn't fulfill their obligation. We're not closing and funding until they go take care of that situation. So
somebody went and mowed.
Somebody went and took care of it. But what an unnecessary delay.
Right.
and I don't think there was any ill intent. I think there's just a lot
Yeah.
going on for people, and you can really be that rock to help them.
Right, which kind of leads into our tip for the day is kind of having a checklist.
Yeah.
You know, whatever your checklist is, I'm sure you have more of these than we do on things that happen too. But
Yeah.
what are the important ones that most people miss? Because, I mean,
Yeah. What are things you think would make you be the best agent possible for your client, that could help them through? I mean, I definitely would say run through the things we talked about, but you probably have more.
right. That's what I mean. Yeah, we're only thinking of the ones we hear about. You probably see more than we do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that'd be our tip for this week.
Yeah.
What about a challenge?
Our
Our challenge is kind of what we talked about, huh?
Yeah, it kind of goes along with the tip.
Maybe just like putting that into process.
Right. 7 days before closing or 10 days, whatever you think is a good timing, but just to go through those checklists.
Yeah. Yeah. And like start with your next closing.
Right.
Just put it on your calendar a week before closing.
Make a nice little Word document, you know, that you send, or a cute
little text template or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. Use social media tips and tricks.
Right.
You know?
For sure.
Be good. You know, you make the ask this week.
I tell you, look at the pink squares.
Our new set is super cute. I'm really excited to see where this goes. We have plans for a really amazing sign that's going to go right here.
Neon.
You know, things just take time. Take time to get to where we want to go.
Well, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like our video, subscribe, reach out to us, podcast@mcknighttitle.com.
We also have a Facebook, an Instagram, a TikTok. You can find our content there. You can engage with us there. You know, we will have a newsletter rolling out shortly where hopefully maybe we'll have a checklist we can share that might help you get started. Right. We are 2 escrow officers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Our office specifically is in Fort Worth, and we have a satellite office in Granbury. We have 14 locations across the Metroplex where we can serve any of your clients. We are aiming to grow our business this year. We do have goals, and we want to work with you. We've got a really great process down. We've got some really great people on our team. So write us in. Write us in a contract. Yeah. Write her in a contract.
Put her name. Put my name.
There you go. Put podcast.
Yeah, podcast. Ooh.
We could do that.
Yes.
Podcast@mcknighttitle. We both get the email.
That's right.
Yeah. Let us help you. Let us know how we can help you. We'd love to get to know you and show you what we can do in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the closing.
At the closing.
All right. Invest in your tomorrow.
Live in your today.